So, do not dwell on the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This quote was said by Buddha. For those of you who don't remember, my name is Samantha Gutenberg, and I prefer to go by Sam. For 5 years, I was a cheerleader. I started my 8th grade year, and I seemed to amaze the coaches at how well I was progressing. My freshman year, I moved to high school. I had new coaches, and they had seen everything, so it wasn't quite the same experience as 8th grade. But my sophomore year, I went on to be one of 3 girls to make the varsity team as a sophomore. That year, we went on to nationals in Orlando, Florida. Our division was super varsity, non-tumbling. Basically what this meant was we had a really large team who we all couldn't do backflips. We went on to place 5th in the nation that year. Now, 5th doesn't seem that great. It's not first. It's not first loser, not second loser, or third loser. It's 4th loser. So that didn't seem too great when you just tell it to anyone out there. But going in with some detail, we competed against 45 teams that year, and that doesn't even include all the teams that were weaved out in prior competitions. My junior year, we went on, and that year kind of took a turn. We were going to perform again in nationals, but we lost 3 different girls to injuries. First, we lost a girl 2 months before our first performance due to internal bleeding. The second girl was 2 weeks before we left for nationals due to a broken arm, and the third was the day before we left due to a sprained ankle. So we had to change around everything. We went on to place 11th that year, which was the worst we'd ever done at a competition. The senior year, we came back, and I ended up being captain of the team. We had a strong team, but during a practice, I noticed that we hit a wall. We were all frustrated and no longer making progress on things. Our coach ended up getting so frustrated with us that he walked out. When he walked out, as captain, I talked to my co-captain, and we brought the girls together to have a discussion. We asked the girls to talk about what was going wrong, what we were doing at the time, and what we needed to improve our attitudes toward practice and how to get better. I stated that we needed to stop trying to be the team from my sophomore year. We were also focused on going back and doing as well as we did that first year of competition, that we forgot that we are a completely different group of girls. We no longer had the same team. They were different. We were also in different conditions. We had moved practice spaces. We had a lot more things that were going against us. And we also had different teams that we had been competing against. There were bigger teams in our division now. So after that discussion, we decided that we needed to be fully present in every practice and performance. And once we have finished the practice or performance, we needed to discuss what went well and what we needed to improve on to get to our goal. I also stated that we probably shouldn't think too hard on our big performance at nationals. That thinking on the performance at nationals was only creating nerves in us and wanting to be there in that moment when we just weren't ready yet. We continued to practice that night, and our coach came back fully amazed at how we turned around not only our attitudes but our performance abilities. We went on into nationals to regain our title as 5th in nation that year. From this story, I learned the meaning behind Buddha's quote. It is to allow yourself to progress and improve, that you can't compare yourself to what or who has been in your past. While thinking to the future can make you worried that you're going to miss your goals. Being in the current moment is what allows you to not only improve, but to be at a relaxed state of mind while you're doing so. Thank you.
This was a really good, well-organized speech. I feel like you did, I don't know if you intentionally, but that problem solution structure really well. well? Did you intentionally do that?
A little bit.
Okay, all right. It was very well organized, and the words that came out, I could follow everything perfectly with the outline. So that was all really good. One thing I'd like you to work on is your delivery, your movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think if you need this, you should just have it.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Alright.
But I think you barely need it, so I think that's why you were putting it here.
Yeah.
Right? So one thing I noticed is you're kind of like
Yeah, I swear.
yeah, you're just like walking around a little bit.
Mhm.
And I like the intention and the idea of your body moving
Yeah.
while you're speaking, but I'd like you to do it in a little more focused way.
Okay.
So there is something where you walk the points, but it's not quite what you're doing because you're walking so much.
Yeah.
So what I would like you to do, you can just think for a moment now, or you can just do it as you go and just try it, is that when you transition, you can just, take a step forward and keep looking at us, right? Or you might just like do this, something more subtle,
Yeah.
right? And then one more thing is I'd like you to slow down a lot
Yeah.
for the speak. We're not gonna do probably the whole thing, we're probably just gonna do maybe this part.
Okay.
But anytime you feel a moment, and I was even just thinking here, like anytime you feel a moment where you could give us a little more slowed down expression, I want you to try to open that moment up for us.
Okay.
Right? Okay. When we're ready.
Do not dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. This quote was said by Buddha. For those of you who don't remember, I'm Sam. I did cheerleading for 5 years. I started my 8th grade year, and I seemed to impress the coaches on how well I was progressing for it being my first year. When I went on to my freshman year, it wasn't quite the case. I had new coaches who had seen almost everything. My sophomore year now, I made the varsity team, and I was one of 3 sophomore girls to make that team. That year, we decided to compete in nationals in Orlando, Florida at Disney World. We placed 5th in the nation. Now, 5th in the nation doesn't seem that good. It's not 1st, 2nd, or 3rd loser, but that's beside the point. We competed against 45 different teams just at nationals. That does not include competitions that were prior to nationals in order to make nationals. Also, that was our first year ever competing as a team at Casa Roble High School. My junior year wasn't quite the case. We went on to nationals, but prior to that, we had some issues going in. We had 3 girls who we lost to injuries. The first girl was 2 months before our first competition due to internal bleeding. The second girl was only 2 weeks prior to the competition due to a broken arm, and the day before we left for competition, we lost another girl due to a sprained ankle. My senior year, though, we went on to become a stronger team. I gained captain as the team, and we noticed during one practice we hit a wall, and we were no longer making progress.
Okay, good. So, comments for Sam. Go ahead, darling.
I thought during the second time it was much slower, and then we did the details, we precised it a lot, and I still got the gist of your quote from the beginning. And then we added the name of the school, and I was like, oh, I know Casa Roble, I know that's something. So it was a good added more detail, but then keeping it concise at the same time.
Other people?
Really good eye contact.
Yeah, and I feel like when she slowed it down, there was even better eye contact with all of us, right? And then she could find those moments to be more expressive, which I feel like you already do. Like, even when you're talking in class, you're very expressive.
Yeah.
But I know you were trying to get through those points, right?
Yeah.
I think you could still work on the movement, but you were better. I could tell you were trying to stop.
Yeah,
While you
I
were
noticed myself
moving.
sway at one point. I was like, wait.
Yes.
Because I like staggering my legs, and so that causes me
One
to
thing that
sway.
can help, and this might be like a cheerleading, did you do gymnastics before cheerleading? Okay, so you do this, it's like a girl pose thing, you know, where you like are up on one leg, and I wonder if like you maybe have done that a lot beforehand, but when you do that, that actually is what propels you to like move.
Yeah.
So instead, it's not very ladylike, but you can do it subtly, is, you know, like, we can try right now, just be on both feet and just bend your knees a little,
Yeah.
and just make your feet just a teeny bit apart, yeah, like that, bend your knees, and then like you can even drop your shoulders back, feel your shoulders back. Do you feel like stronger?
Yeah, like I feel like I not only do like the whole one leg thing,
Yes.
but I also stand crooked if I'm not doing that.
Oh, okay.
Which causes me like to go into that
that
forward back
movement.
motion.
So I would say when you rehearse next time, practice, you know, like you can even do it like exaggerated just when you're by yourself, so then when you get up here, you're doing it on your own, you're naturally doing it. Right? Okay. Maybe just one more comment for Sam before we move on. Okay, all right. Okay, let's give her a hand.